Max, who are the couple of teams that maybe have piqued your interest the most with what they've done through the portal this offseason?
Just overall or the spring period?
Yeah. I guess let's do spring period.
Yeah, I mean, I would say spring period. Like it's been interesting to see. Certainly from a Big 12 standpoint. I think West Virginia is one of those that you look at and say, like, I'm curious to see how all the pieces fit together there. That's been one of the more dramatic roster rebuilds that we've really seen this offseason. And part of that is obviously they had some really good players leave the program this offseason after Neil Brown was fired. But that has certainly cleared room for Rich Rod to go out and get his guys. And I think by my count, West Virginia has brought in 43 transfers this offseason. So it's going to be a completely different looking team next year. And I think that's interesting to see. Can they find some difference makers there? They brought in Jalen Knighton from SMU, who's a good running back. They were able to bring some good guys with them from Jacksonville State. They got Jamori Robinson from UTSA, who's the American Conference Defensive Player of the Year last year. So I think that's one of some of these teams that are just in these kind of massive rebuilds, like we saw from Colorado a couple of years ago. You're very curious to see, can they find enough guys? Can they get enough competitive depth that they could be totally different, like we saw from Indiana last year?
Yeah, I think West Virginia is super intriguing and don't know what to expect at all, but definitely they're more interesting. And obviously, if I had expanded that question and said overall, Texas Tech would be the first team off the top of your lips, right?
Yeah, and I think that's probably like end of the day they'll probably finish with the number one portal class. I mean, LSU's done an amazing job of getting difference makers, but I just think what Texas Tech has done, what they've been willing to do this offseason is pretty remarkable. And I think I know that like probably around the state there's a lot of just sort of like eye rolling of like, oh, I think they can just sort of like buy their way to the top. Like we'll see about that. But the players that James Blanchard has brought in this offseason, these are NFL players. Like this is not just like, oh, these guys that are overhyped because they're in the portal and they're getting all these offers. These are guys with NFL futures. And so, to add what they've added on the defensive line, I think they feel like they've got one of the best defensive lines in the country now, especially after they added David Bailey from Stanford this spring. Really fortified the offensive line. I like the playmakers they added. That's another one where you're just like, okay, you got new coordinators, you got a ton of new players. You need Barry Morton to stay healthy. Like a lot of stuff's got to come together here. But yeah, certainly in terms of flipping their fortunes from an 8-win season, Texas Tech's done an unbelievable job.